Hey Brick Fanatics! Now, it's fair to say when it comes to Star Wars, it's somewhat of a divisive property, with recent films and television series splitting the opinion of both critics and fans alike. However, there's been one series that's been universally praised across the board, and that of course is The Mandalorian. 2 seasons, soon to be 3, of fantastic storytelling and amazing intergalactic adventures. It not only introduced us to 2 of the most popular characters in the entire Star Wars universe, Grogu and the titular character, the Mandalorian Din Djarin, but also debuted his instantly iconic starship, the Razor Crest. 75331 marks the 6th official rendition of the bounty hunter's famous ship, following on from 75292 the Razor Crest, 75321 the Razor Crest Microfighter, a Razor Crest foil pack, and the 2 models that were included in the 2020 and 2021 advent calendars. But by far, this new model is the most detailed and largest of the batch. 5,188 pieces more than 75292. In fact, this Razor Crest UCS model is the 3rd largest Star Wars set of all time. The Razor Crest is a modern day classic getting the ultimate collector's series treatment. Chances are this is a match made in heaven. I like those odds. But with a source material that's so popular, expectations are going to be at an all-time high to deliver a set that not only offers a fantastic looking model, but also delivers us an incredible build experience. Not always the easiest thing to achieve. Ultimately, is this going to be a set that's going to come in hot, or will it leave fans feeling cold? Largely based on Season 1 of The Mandalorian, the set is presented in the sleek black packaging adults have been accustomed to. Upon opening the box, fans will be greeted by 2 large boxes that between them contain the 6,187 pieces spread across an impressive 48 bags numbered 1 through 36. Unusually, the manuals are printed with a mustard yellow colour rather than black or the white style that was introduced earlier this year. For those old enough to remember, it creates the feeling of a Haynes repair manual, but that's probably not a look the designers were going for. Inside, however, is the usual background information, interviews with the designers, behind the scenes and model info that helps set the scene for the build to come. For anyone who hasn't had the privilege of taking on an Ultimate Collector's set, staring at a giant box that contains thousands upon thousands of pieces can feel like quite a daunting experience. These sets are huge and are usually home to the most innovative and creative building techniques amongst the entire LEGO portfolio. Taking on an Ultimate Collector's set is a dedicated commitment, both financially and time-wise. 75331 the Razor Crest ticks all the above boxes, but in a way feels like the most accessible Ultimate Collector's series set that LEGO have ever produced, certainly at this scale anyway. The build is deep and involved, but at no point does it ever feel overly challenging, complicated, or even a chore to construct. And with over 6,000 pieces in the box, that's quite an achievement. It's not uncommon for a model of this size to require a lot of Technic assembly before building with system bricks, and fans not used to Technic can sometimes find this quite laborious. However, after only the first bag, which is all about Technic, the next shifts to more conventional parts and pieces, adding a number of intricate details and textures to the flooring area, using a combination of tiles, grills and plates. Even at this early stage, the level of detail and accuracy is fairly impressive, and eagle-eyed fans will be able to spot Easter eggs and references from the series right from the start. Nods to Din Djarin's adventures include Boba Fett's armour, the gear knob that eventually becomes Grogu's plaything, and the jar of Frog Lady's eggs that Grogu enjoys snacking on. There's also an incredibly impressive arsenal of weaponry scattered around the ship, including a well-stocked and removable armoury. After all, Din Djarin is a Mandalorian, and weapons are part of his religion. The first half of the build continues with one bag concentrating on Technic building before reverting to system parts and then back again. In the manual, the designers write about how much Technic bricks and framework were needed to support the 2 giant engines. However, because of the way it's designed, it never feels like you're just building with Technic, and for those fans who aren't that inspired by Technic building, it helps this section from becoming too monotonous. The Razor Crest is a rather odd-looking ship. It's bulky, it's stocky, and its design includes a mix of sleek curves and harsh angles. Not always the easiest thing to recreate with Lego, but here it's skillfully replicated using a series of large sub-assemblies that fit all along the framework. The front of the ship is a smart looking design, capturing the curved shape incredibly accurately. The way the large panel that sits underneath the landing gear is attached feels smart, and the rear section is a highlight to construct. Assembled using Technic bars and Technic pins to angle each sub-assembly into position, hinging the different lengths of Technic bars to create the necessary angles. While this technique of attaching large sub-assembly panels to the frame does allow for accuracy and authenticity, and it's probably the only way to recreate the different angles all around the fuselage, it does mean the build becomes quite familiar quite quickly. Hinges, brackets and ball and socket joints are used liberally throughout the build at pretty much every single stage. So although what you're building might be different, the technique behind it remains the same without too much deviation from the core principle. While it is an enjoyable process, it's not the most memorable of builds. Because they're not connected, it also means there are slight gaps around the bodywork. Due to the overall size of the model though, this is probably the right thing to sacrifice. What the designers did get right though, however, is recreating the ship's exterior aesthetic, capturing the yellow markings down each side perfectly. A combination of yellow tiles and stickers capture the look of the on-screen craft incredibly well. Stickers are often a divisive topic, but here they really do add to the overall look of the craft and thankfully aren't too fiddly to apply. While the panels along the sides connect to one another via brackets and clips, the sub-assemblies on top are designed in a way that they can be easily removed to access the interior sections of the ship. The top of the cockpit just slots into place, not even connected via a jumper plate. The inner seating of the cockpit can also be removed, and the entire middle section also comes off incredibly easily, including the two giant engines which are connected together and lift off as one whole piece. The engines are easily the most labour intensive, involved and at times repetitive stage of the model, making up probably around a third, if not slightly more, of the entire build. Curved tiles are used to create the rounded shape. There's small pockets of greebling placed throughout, and the light grey chain links that wrap around the front and rear of each engine looks excellently authentic. Because of their symmetrical design, you will find yourself assembling the exact same element over and over, but it's worth it, as once finished, the engines look incredibly impressive and give the Razor Crest its instantly recognisable silhouette. With the main model finished, the spotlight turns to the construction of Kuiil's Blurrg, the bipedal creature he teaches Din Djarin to ride. It could potentially be seen as a little bit of an anticlimactic ending to the experience. In other large-scale sets, this would have perhaps been the first thing to construct or used as a midway break, but it's actually a more involved and brilliantly put together model than it looks, and it wouldn't feel out of place next to the Bantha, Dewback or Taunton that were included in recent Microfighter sets, 75228, 75265 and 75298 respectively. And actually, the Blurrg is a great way to round off the entire set. Overall, it's a very enjoyable build. It just doesn't perhaps quite reach the level of innovation and creative parts usage that we've seen in other large-scale sets. Ultimate Collector's Series sets almost always include desirable and exclusive minifigures, and 75331 is no exception. There's 4 minifigures included in the box, 3 of which are exclusive, and 2 of which have never been seen before in minifigure form. There's the Ugnaught Kuiil, who helps Din Djarin locate Grogu, and there's the Mandalorian's very first on-screen bounty, the alien simply known as the Mythrol. Kuiil features a brand new moulded headpiece, unique from previous Ugnaught minifigures. It's a slightly more elongated piece which captures Kuiil's distinctive characteristics, including his slight wisps of grey hair, incredibly authentically. Kuiil's torso recreates his on-screen outfit with a printed design that includes his brown jacket and ruffled cravat. Minifigure purists might feel his face is a little too realistic for a Lego figure, but others will love the accuracy to the source material. The Mythrol also features accurate printing on the torso, however the legs are just left plain. The headpiece, although captures the character's distinctive fins through the use of printing, could have perhaps benefited from being a moulded piece as well. Fans have already seen 5 different variations of Din Djarin, but only one in his pre-Beskar armour, his Durasteel outfit. That minifigure was good, but the minifigure included here is by far the most definitive version, complete with excellent new printing on both the arms and his helmet. The Mandalorian was already a very decent minifigure, but this current variant elevates it to a must-have in any Star Wars fan's collection. Rounding off the 4 minifigures is Grogu, included in his little pod. He's not exclusive and he's been seen before, but he still remains one of, if not the most adorable LEGO minifigure of all time. Aw, baby Yoda. When it comes to the price of any large-scale Ultimate Collector Series set, it's very hard to be either positive or negative. These sets command hundreds and hundreds of pounds, euros or dollars, but they are aimed at a much older market who are willing to pay high-end prices for a premium product and expect them to be at the highest end of the price range. Regardless, there's no denying that it's a hefty chunk of change for anyone to spend on one single set. But when comparing this particular model to others that are currently on the market, you could say that this is somewhat of a bargain. Considerably cheaper than both 75313 8080 or 75192 Millennium Falcon, but with a part count that isn't too far off either of them, seems to be a really good deal. However, perhaps what those sets offer which this doesn't is a more involved, inventive and lengthy building experience, making those feel like you're getting a better all-round LEGO experience than what's offered here. That being said, this is still the 3rd largest LEGO Star Wars set of all time, and it is a fantastic recreation of a hugely popular and iconic starship, which still holds up as a cleverly designed and well executed model in its own right. Like bounty hunting, LEGO reviewing is a complicated business. I really wanted to absolutely 100% love this set, but there's just something about it that's stopping me giving it that full bounty hunter seal of approval. Don't get me wrong, this is a brilliant set and fans will absolutely love recreating the Razor Crest and having this fantastic model on display. There is no doubt that this is one impressive looking model, capturing the unmistakable look and aesthetic of the Razor Crest almost perfectly. There are enough references and Easter eggs spread throughout to keep fans happy, the functions are cleverly integrated into the model, and the minifigure selection is pretty decent. It's also a sizable set, commanding an impressive amount of display space. Thanks to the way this model comes together, especially those early stages, this really does feel like a UCS set that everyone can enjoy, no matter what skill level they may be at. However, that could be seen as both a good thing and a bad thing. Experienced fans might be left feeling wanting more. Although there are a few moments of smart techniques and brilliant inspiration, the challenge and complexity isn't at the same level as some of the other large UCS sets currently on the market. That being said, this is probably one of the most enjoyable UCS sets to put together for that exact reason. So really, it comes down to what you personally look for in a LEGO build as to whether you're going to enjoy this set to its full potential or not. Regardless of how it comes together though, there's no denying that this is one awesome, incredible, dare I say, ultimate rendition of the Razor Crest that LEGO have ever produced, and it will make a stunning addition to any collection or displayed as a centerpiece on its own. I have spoken. And that's it. If you enjoyed this review, please support the work Brick Fanatics does, like bringing you this review, by purchasing your copy of 75331 The Razor Crest using our affiliate links, which can be found somewhere below. And remember, for your LEGO news, reviews, features and more, head on over to brickfanatics.com now, sign up for the newsletter and never ever miss anything LEGO related. I'll see you again, I promise.